Hi everyone, we are back with another book review video. It has been a while since the last one. I published on YouTube to the general public. These first go out to newsletter subscribers, and it's been a minute for them too, because, you know, got married, I moved, and now I finally have a little bit of time to catch up and get into these review videos for you guys again. So I've changed a little bit how I'm doing these videos. They're still the same. We're still going to have the format of flipping through and looking at them, but in the past I have flipped through them and kind of tried to say some historical information, and in the past I've gotten some of that information from the book and some of it from just my own research, and I've decided to make it all exclusively from the book. That way it's more comprehensive. That way you're actually getting a better idea of what content these books hold. You know, like, is it going to be very informative? Is it not? And I think these two books are good examples of that, because honestly I didn't get a lot of good information from them. But that aside, they are good books. They're still worth going over. So let's go ahead, get started, and I'll show you guys these books. So we're going to start with this book. It's called Great Heritage Renaissance Drawings from Chatsworth. What that means is these are all drawings from a specific collection. These were all in the collection of the Duke of Devonshire? Don't know how to say that. I do apologize for my pronunciations. But it starts with the Italian drawings in his collection and goes through, let's see, Italian, German, Flemish, Dutch, and French. Oops. So it does have quite a wide variety of drawings in here, all roughly like Renaissance time period though. And I think that's pretty broad, Renaissance time period. I don't think it's necessarily focused to early Renaissance or late Renaissance or anything like that. So it's a really beautiful book. It is, the image quality in this is really good. I don't know how well you can see it with the sunspots. I do apologize for that. It's the issue of living where there's now a lot of many beautiful trees, cast quite colorful shadows, but the image quality is really good, so I can vouch for that. The one thing that honestly, the only written thing that the written info talks about is kind of how the drawing ended up in the Duke's collection. It might go into a little blurb of like, oh, scholars noticed this mark on this drawing, and it might be a sign that the artist, you know, had another version that they drew darker over, like things like that. You know, nothing really exciting or groundbreaking, no real technical information. So yeah, written content, it's not a book I'm gonna sit down and read. However, it is a book that is really good to sit down and copy from. So in that sense, I highly recommend it if you are looking to copy Renaissance drawings. So I really like it for that reason. But in my new scheme of things to try and create videos that are research based off of the books, not off of online sources, unfortunately I don't have a ton of exciting stuff to say, since the book doesn't have a ton of exciting stuff to say. As you can see, it does have a blurb about each piece, but I just found it really lacking. Like, it was very scholarly and it was very dry, and it was honestly, like, I will gauge things by how interesting they are historically and how interesting they are for an artist. And to be quite honest, I didn't find this book to be interesting for either. Unless you're just really interested in understanding how the Duke of Devonshire came to own these drawings, which personally I don't find that illuminating. But if you're a nerd in that way, then hey, this is a great book for you. But for an artist, the quality of prints is really, really superb. Like, if you are an artist who wants to get better at drawing from doing master copies of drawings, this is a great book to own. So that is what all she wrote. That's all we have. Okay, so this is a book on Florentine Renaissance drawings. It is from the High Renaissance to Early Baroque period, so roughly 1500 to 1615 is the time span of the drawings that we'll be seeing in this book. And that's kind of, I mean, it's kind of interesting to get the variety of time. I don't know how broad the time range was on the last book that we looked at, but there was a wide variety in terms of artist and region. In this one, it's a little bit more focused to a specific region, but you get a wide variety of time periods and still of Italian artists. How this book is grouped into, it groups into artists, so it has like the section on Raphael, a section on Michelangelo, etc. So you can look up a specific artist's work in this book if it pertains to the right time period and the right region. It's similar to the last book in that these are all from a specific collection. These are all drawings in the British Museum, or drawings that were in the British Museum's collection, because this is a slightly older publication. But really good. I mean, high quality prints, even if they aren't as all big as the last book. That's probably my only complaint with this one, is I find some of the images kind of small, and that would make it harder to do like a drawing copy from. But that being said, in the grand scheme of drawing books, it's not bad, because I've had books that are mostly white paper with a teeny tiny drawing in the center, and you know, those are far worse and far more frustrating. So so as far as written content goes, not very groundbreaking, not very exciting. It is mostly about how, again, the work ended up in the collection, so the history of the drawing and its exchange of hands, but not really any kind of exciting information or information about the artist, maybe alluding to it here and there, but not really done in a very interesting way. So the one thing that I actually really did enjoy about this book is that it talked about a quote on one of the drawings in here. It didn't say, in the collection, it didn't say whether or not that drawing was in this book, but it's a drawing that is done by a student of Michelangelo, and on the paper it said, "Draw, Antonio, draw, and don't waste time." There might be a slight misquote of it. I'll put it in the description, quoted verbatim, but I thought that was really funny. A really funny quote to have said by Michelangelo on the page of another artist, and actually a rather valuable quote, as we should all draw and not waste time. So it at least had that. This book at least had one interesting quote. But otherwise, yeah, it stacks up fairly well against the other one. Good quality prints. The other one's slightly better for copying just due to the amount of large prints, but if your thing is more Italian Renaissance drawings, especially Florentine Renaissance drawings, then this is the better pick for you. So I think that brings us to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed going through this with me. I find them very good for reference, very good for copying, even if the written content isn't as exciting. Next time, we're going to go through two really interesting books with really interesting written content. One with slightly less good image quality, but it's still worth showing, and I'll show you what I mean next video. So if you're interested, stay tuned for that one, and I'll see you next time.